The first speaker will be Filip Kuczmarski. Filip is a member of Lodz Film Commission in Poland. He graduates the film school in Łódź. He has worked on many film projects and noticed problems with working conditions in the Polish film industry.
Because we were struggling to have like enough films, enough funds for the industry. So where people had to decide if they want to work on the sustainable environment and sustainable conditions, or they will not have like job in the film industry at all. They decide to work at anything, because it's like this basic hierarchy of needs. If there is no job, there is no discussion about working conditions. So this is the topic that appeared really just a few years ago in the Polish industry. So these conditions I split into like these three aspects: the overtime during shooting, the breaks, and the working days in the Polish film industry. Those numbers are based on my collaboration with Polish film the Film Workers Union that was established in 2021, and they made research and asked the Polish film workers about the overtime, about the breaks, and about the working days, in general about the condition they work in. And the results were quite shocking, and I experienced it on my own. And I think when I speak with people who work in the industry, it really looks like that in the real life here in Poland, that the overtime is something really common. The people who are asked about this overtime, more than the 70% of them answered that the overtime happens always or most of the times. And this overtime is not mostly only 1 hour. It's in an average 2 to 3 overtime hours. And it's the same when we look at the commercial, the same when we look at the feature film production and the series. There are a little bit of moves there in the numbers, but they are not essential. And the departments that are the most exposed to those overtime are the production, costume, and the set designers, the art department, because they most likely need to be even a few hours before the official start of the shooting, and sometimes few hours after the official end of the shooting day. So they are the most they most likely work the longest time. The breaks are separate. They are split into the daily and weekly breaks, which should look like the daily breaks should be 11 hours after the working days, and the weekly should be like 35 hours, which is constantly just they're just breaking these breaks and not providing them to the Polish film workers. And more than 89% of the asked people who work in the Polish film industry, they answered that they work 7 days in a row. So in the typical week, they don't have established one day of the break in the shooting, in the production time. And even they are the 68% of the people who were asked in this study, they answered that they work in the holiday, who are in Polish law set as the free of work. So the working days, which includes the holidays, the Sundays, basically the weekends, are also said to be the typical working day. We are just in the beginning of this road, and the biggest like the point that we want to provide is this just limitation, and to work in the sustainable in the sustainable like working conditions. So we would like to limit the overtime hours like 2 per days and maximum 5 per week to provide this rest after the day a working day to 11 hours, rest after the week of work to 35 hours, and to set the Sundays and the holidays to be free from work. And as you can see, it's not super extraordinary points that we want to live with like high life, earn a lot and work nothing. It's not like that. From my perspective, it's really basic, basic like human rights, right to the rest, right to it pretty much comes to right to the rest. So it's really basic, but this is what we are struggling with. This is what we are actually fighting with.
We will go to the presentation of Jack Shelbourne from United Kingdom. Jack is a cinematographer and senior lecturer at the University of Lincoln. He worked on Mindset in 2022, which won Best UK Feature Film at the Manchester International Film Festival. Jack is also doing a PhD in sustainable cinematography. His research focus on the environment effects of cinematography and how to make it greener.
Public transport or shared transport, that's a lot of additional transport. So cinematography alone is impacting on that number quite heavily. And then, of course, mains energy and gas on a film set is often used by cinematography for charging batteries, powering lights, powering laptops, powering the data wrangling servers and various other things. It very much contributes to this quite a lot. A real key one is diesel generators. They're very rarely on a film set for any other reason than powering lights. If they're there, it's because the producer wants you to shoot your film and make it look like daylight, even though the sun's set, because that's what the schedule requires. You need high-powered, punchy lights. Diesel generators are there. You do find them on production bases or unit bases to power the Winnebagos, the food carts, and everything that you need. But really, the vast majority of the time, if there's a diesel generator, it's because a light requires it. So cinematography, I am confident in saying, is a leading contributor to global carbon emissions from their impact on individual films, contributing so heavily to that 2,800 tons of CO2. And then a few other things they mentioned, such as seeking resolution, lots of handheld, Steadicam, exploring all three dimensions of space, as well as things such as a constant desire to embrace serendipity, and also importantly, acknowledging that all good dogmas are made to be broken, like all good rules, when it's appropriate. So the key players in new naturalism as the cinematographers, you have Emanuel Uzbeki, Tree of Life, To the Wander, and the film I want to highlight is The Revenant, which was shot exclusively with natural and available light. And then you also have Joshua James Richards, who shot a few films a little bit less known, but the main key one is Nomadland. Again, shot entirely with natural and available light. Both of those films won Oscars. They were celebrated at the highest possible pillar of achievement in the film industry. So by both shooting and practicing natural available light, I can combine them together and look at their techniques as practitioners. Then reflecting on myself and the work that I've done, I've shot 2 films, feature films, shot plenty of other films, but feature films which I can class as being shot around the style of new naturalism, even though when I was shooting them, I had no idea about this. One of them is How You Look at Me, released in 2019, and the other one, Mindset, which was released in 2022. How You Look at Me was shot on location in France and London. We use natural and available light. One of the main reasons why is because on the recce, when we went to this mansion in France that we're shooting in, I plugged in one light and I blew all the electrics. There was absolutely no way I was going to use any lights in there, and we weren't affording a diesel generator. So I used some LED lights, but pretty much we were reliant on natural available lights. And we chose the location, or decided we could continue shooting there based on the huge windows, the type you can see in the top image, which is a great example of the kind of contrasty image we got and style we went for. Also shooting a lot around golden hour towards the end of the day in the middle image, and also the bottom image is a great example of the kind of the available light that we used. We recce'd a lot of tunnels in London.
The last but not least, Monika Głowacka from Poland. Monika is a deputy director of the Polish Creative Industries Development Center in Poland. She has worked in the film industry since 2007, and she helped create green guidelines for the audiovisual industry in Poland. She also leads projects and trainings about the green production.
And the numbers of the green consultants, we had a chance to learn, to create. It was 17 people, and the ambassadors of green audiovisual production, the 32 people had a chance to receive the certificate. Of course, we also concentrated on creation of the green guidelines, and actually started from that point. Some kind of educational tutorial too. So we are going like step by step to respond to the industry needs, and what we see that it's really important. Of course, we've got good examples in Europe, but still the lobbying on a national level is important for us. We started it from the very beginning. We tried to convince the Polish Film Institute to implement some solutions dedicated to naturalization, making the film production less carbon.
Thank you. I think that was the first step.
Great first step.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
And bye bye.
Right.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.